All right, guys, what's happening? It's Pete again, and I've got a great topic. This one gets a lot of people fired up, and I saw this one online. Do you need a website for your business? Specifically, as a financial counselor or a coach, do you have to have a website? And I just love that everyone is falling on one side or the other on this one in the yes or no camp. And I'm going to say here, I'm going to give you the right answer. The right answer. Listen, anyone who tells you that you need anything to be successful in this business or to have a business is absolutely wrong. You don't need anything. You don't need a website. You don't need a social media presence. You don't need business cards. You don't need anything. If people like you, if they trust in your advice and they want to find you and seek you out and work with you, you don't need a bloody thing. You can meet them in a coffee shop. You don't need an office. You can meet them in your home, whatever. You can meet them over the phone. Listen, you don't need anything. So the reality is, anyone who says you absolutely have to have it, I would say, listen, that person should probably be fired. You don't need that kind of guidance. It's really all excuses. I'll get back to that in a minute here. But if you are being stalled or hung up because you're saying, hey, I don't know how to build a website. Do I need it? I don't know how to build a Facebook page, whatever. That's just an excuse. That's just an excuse that's preventing you from going out and getting clients. And you can get clients without any of that stuff. And I know a ton of people who run successful businesses, not only just financial coaching businesses, but businesses in general. The other thing I'm going to tell you here is that I have been in the small business game for about 20 years now. In fact, starting my first small business in college, 2 of them, in fact, and selling those. And then after college, having produced, built, and then sold companies, I have a decent amount of experience in this, and then also building companies and business units for businesses. So I will just tell you, you don't need any of that stuff. The only thing here that really matters is, do you have clients that bring in income? And then everything else is fair game. Listen, I'm going to say here, though, that in terms of what you do want to build and focus on in terms of technology for your business is going to start with social media. So things like a Facebook page, a LinkedIn page, a YouTube channel, Twitter account, those types of things, Instagram, whatever it might be, that those things are all more valuable than a website at this point. Now, here's where I just love seeing people take one side or the other. They were saying you absolutely have to have a website. It's legitimacy. It's what people look for. Let's get real. No, it's not. If you're telling people that in 2019 you have no business giving people advice on businesses, that is just absolutely ridiculous. In fact, I know, and a lot of my friends who are business coaches and other business leaders, we don't even bother with websites. I will tell you, in the corporate world, we don't even bother with websites. I have not even registered some domain names in that I would have normally jumped on in the past. Think about the guys who were domain name squatters and whatnot. That business is really dried up for the most part because people just don't need it. And in fact, names don't even really matter either. But websites are like business cards. So business cards really became kind of obsolete with the rise of LinkedIn. Now, I still have them and I still take them. And really the only valuable thing that they provide now is enough information so that person can find you and connect with you on LinkedIn or take notes on them. So that's really the big value of business cards, which is kind of funny, right? So websites are the business cards of the business world right now. And in fact, if you're thinking that the website is going to drive traffic or people are going to search on it, think about how much clutter there is out there on the website. If you go to Google and you type in something like financial coaching, how much is going to come up that is not going to be anything related to your personal website, right? There's going to be tons of financial well-being articles, lots of coaching organizations, certifications, things like that. No one's going to stumble on it. No one's going to find it. The only thing that might be useful to you is if people want, as you have gained clients, go to your site and maybe want to schedule. But that's not even new business. That's not even working as a brochure or a prospecting or lead generation tool. That is just a tool that you're using to help manage your current caseload. So keep that in mind. What is really important, and I'm definitely following in this side, is that you can start a business right now for free in about 15 minutes by setting up a Facebook page. And I will tell you what, Facebook is a platform, a social media platform, which everyone is familiar with. People are saying here, well, the older demographic doesn't work on that. I tell you what, the over 60 demographic is the fastest growing demographic on Facebook. So if you think that, oh, it's only for young people or something like that, I think you're wrong. It's actually the older demographic. It's the younger demographic, the millennials and the latest graduating generation that are kind of a little leery of Facebook in some ways. And that's really probably not the demographic you're targeting for your financial coaching business anyway. So if you're targeting anyone from 30 or higher, the Gen Ys, the baby boomers, that type of thing, you should probably be on Facebook. You can set up a page very quickly. And one of the things about it is right off the bat, by default, inherently it is interactive. So you can post things, you can engage with people, you can share posts, you can have all your business hours and whatnot on there. What I will also say here is that another piece of criticism is that you don't own social media. Social media can be taken away from you at any point. And that is just really funny coming from people who probably shouldn't be giving tech advice, because you don't own your webpage either, right? You register your domain name. As long as you pay that, theoretically you could have it. If you don't pay it, people lose it. In fact, Microsoft lost their domain name briefly. I don't remember, about a decade ago, when Apple, I think, snagged it or something like that, or Dell. And so there's nothing that you own. You're just renting space everywhere. And in fact, I'm not sure about the social media thing, but what drives me crazy is that there are some people, the supremacists or the racists or the terrorist groups that certainly are being taken down. There are some people who are making decent ad revenue on them, myself included. And sometimes there are things that will happen that will get you demonetized. But the people who are saying that you will lose your social media presence just because a social media company wants to, I think are referencing something so infinitesimally unlikely that it drives me batty, because it's kind of like saying, like, oh, you shouldn't buy a house because housing prices might go down, or whatever it is, or you shouldn't go on that vacation because airplane crashes are totally likely and you could die. What they're talking about are things that they aren't experiencing themselves, which always drives me a little bit crazy, because I think you should have some experience before you try to preach on stuff. And the reality is, all the digital stuff you don't own. Listen, any content you upload anywhere, I keep a record of it, an archive of it on an external hard drive to a cloud server so that I can back it up, whether it's a video, post, content, article, whatever it might be. But if you put that up on a web page or on a social media site, it's all exactly the same thing. And in fact, in some ways, the social media site might be even more kind of durable, because you're not paying for it. So your contract that you have essentially is saying that they will provide you a service for free, as opposed to having to pay like your domain name registrar or your FTP site or whatever it is, or WordPress and all those types of things. So I want to give you a couple of specific examples here. I know I've kind of rambled on a little bit, but I just hired a guy to do some concrete work at my home, and one of the things that he did not have was a website. And did that stop me? I didn't actually even Google it until I wanted to just see if he had a website. So what I did is I went to Facebook, I just typed in his company name, I found the page he had, I saw that a bunch of people were thanking him in the comments and the posts. He had some pictures, and a lot of the pictures were from his customers and his clients. And so I could see not only did he do great work, but people were vouching for him. Legitimized, verified accounts, right? So Facebook isn't just like a comment engine where people can just throw up things anonymously, right? Those people have to exist there, and that's why I like Facebook Marketplace too. But I can see that those people are all users. They're putting their reputation, their user profile on the line by posting these types of things. And so that activity, and even the recent activity, gave me confidence that he was legit, he was going to do a good job. Now, because of that, I actually looked in the profile, what his hours were and things like that, and I saw that he didn't have a website, and I just Googled, and he didn't. And that totally did not warn me off about using him. Not in the slightest. In fact, I thought maybe he's kind of savvy, because he's not bothering with a website, he's not putting up forms, having to track and make sure that the contact form is up or whatever it is, or that the information is outdated or whatnot. And so it's just a realization I had that I don't even really care, and often don't even look if you have a website. Now, on my page, I will tell you, my website is just a white blank page. It actually says powered by Wix at the top, because I am not paying for that to be removed. I think they charge you $2 or something to go into a premium package where that doesn't show. And all it has is my name and my certifications after my name. That's the only thing. It is a total minimalist site. And if you click on my name, it'll take you to a form that'll require you to put in your name, email address, and the message. But that is the only thing I have on my webpage. I don't have hours, I don't have other contact information, I don't post my email address, I don't even say what I do on it, right? And so I have basically built and run I think a fairly nice little family practice without having a webpage effectively. Now, do I get some clicks to the webpage? Sure. but not very many. And sometimes they're just me because sometimes when I send out my email address, it has that domain name in there. That's really the only reason I got it, is just to have kind of my own personal vanity domain. I will tell you what, I also own another business, a much bigger business, and I just use the email or the Gmail address. I didn't even register a domain name for it, and that has been by and large one of the most successful businesses I've ever run. And again, just almost no legitimate technology to it. So don't tell me that you have to have any of those in order to run a business. The reality is you have to have nothing. The only thing you have to have is you and your talent and your capability and your proactiveness to go out and get clients. That's it, right? That's the only thing you really need. Now, if you want to have a social media presence, a website, business cards, all that other stuff, you certainly can. But if you think that you're being held back because you don't have that, it's just an excuse. You got to get off your butt and get out there and meet people and do a good job and retain clients and show your enthusiasm for the service. So, do you need a website? Absolutely not. If people tell you absolutely need to have stuff like that, they need to be fired, period. That's it.